You're now live! Yay! Surprise, loves. We're going to pin a comment, so give me a minute. This is Gary's first Instagram Live, and it's a surprise. So, this is my mentor, Gary, that I always talk about, loves. This is the man behind so many of the things I teach you and so many of the things that I learned. I'm going to sneak back here so we can see. So, the Moon Babes Monday Night Live special, hi, we're jumping on, see, is happening with Gary. And then we'll probably talk again after this. But we were here today. We came to Gary's office. There's Kels. Say hi to Kels.
Hi, friends. Love you.
We've been here doing soul readings. Gary has been doing soul readings for for a long time. Tonight, though, specifically for our Goddess on Mission group. And it was so amazing. And we were so inspired. And we started talking. And so we decided to just jump on because we kind of finished the soul readings Zoom with like starting this conversation. And I just thought, Gary, we should go live on Instagram. How do you feel about that? And he said, let's do it. So here we are.
I said it like, let's go.
That's how he said it. And so many from the are here that were actually on the Zoom. Yeah. Okay, so I asked Gary because we ended the Zoom talking about this workshop that Gary has coming up, which is actually my favorite workshop of his, which is called Magical Realms of the Sacred Self. Okay, this is the workshop where I tell you guys the story when I heard the group consciousness for the first time. I taught about this in detail in the digital retreat, but I've shared the story with you guys many times. When I heard the Pleiadians for the first time, I was here. I just was telling Kelsey's like, I'm going to stand in that spot. I was like, it was right there, here in this office, in this spot. And it was during Magical Realms of the Sacred Self. And the reason why these things are possible and the reason why I can teach you about the things that I have learned to have access to is because my foundation comes from Gary's work. And this is where I built my framework and my reference to then be able to grow and fly and learn all of these other things that I teach. But this is what has made a difference for me. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the things I learned with Gary, which is the reason why I'm constantly telling you guys about him, right? Even though some of the things that we teach are still are very similar, but I'm going to be participating in the course. Yay! So she's going to be a part of it. So I wanted him to tell you about this process, which is where I started connecting a little bit more clearly with things. He calls it the 4 steps.
The 4 steps to travel your soul.
Yeah. So tell him how it works.
Okay. So basically, one time in the UN, I had this profound experience, and I was in another realm. I wasn't in what people call reality. And when I got back to my campfire with my friends, I was so on fire that they couldn't shut me up. Like I'd look at the moon and I'd go, the moon! And then I'd have some revelation, and this is how it is. And then I'd just burst into tears and thank God. And then I'd get centered. And then all of a sudden I'd hear some of the music and, oh, the Moody Blues. And, and it kept happening. And after about 45 minutes or so, I noticed I was actually doing the same 4 things over and over and over again. And then a lightning bolt hit me. And I realized, oh my God, this is not just an expression of a high experience. These 4 steps are how people can get to the highest states of being.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Drug-free, and it won't stain your clothes.
He's worse than me. That's funny. I love you.
Anyway, so, I came home and started finding people that could be centered and look in my eyes and not get all fuzzy. And then we found out that, we did it in the evening at first, and then we found out that at 1 a.m, amazing stuff was starting to happen. So we said, we got to do this all day long. So we'd go to the Uintas, or would go someplace beautiful, and then we'd do the 4 steps. And this course, Magical Realms of the Sacred Self, is about teaching people how to do those 4 steps. And I was just sharing with these two that lately, in the last year or so, when I've been practicing the 4 steps, I've discovered that I'm actually discovering a whole new level of these 4 steps. And when people can learn how to be in their being, what I call their being, their heart, their soul, that if they learn how to be in the now, and they learn how to dive in fully to enjoying whatever makes their heart sing the most at this moment right now, if they learn how to follow their enjoying, then it takes them on a magical ride. And they get the insights, the ahas, the discoveries that literally travel one's soul. Like at the Awakening, the retreat that we do, we found out that when people have a life-changing, what we call a breakthrough, that it boils down to a question that they wanted to ask mom or dad when they were very, very young, but they were too afraid to push the issue because they didn't want to find out that something was really wrong with them. And we found out that unless somebody asks from the age they were at 100%, they don't get the right answer. And after a few times, usually somebody will ask, and all of a sudden it pops the bubble of their doubts and fears and emotional black holes, and they have this profound, life-changing experience because they get to experience directly their own magnificence, their own divinity, their own incredible magnificence. And so from that, we learn that the soul does not progress except in moments when it is acting or being at 100%.
Our 100%. We talk about this all the time.
So these 4 steps that I'm going to teach in this workshop are about how do you learn how to be in your being at such a deep level that you will get the information, the downloads, the discoveries, the revelations that will literally travel your soul.
Do you know what I just realized while you were saying that? You know how, like, so many of you guys, because, you know, I do astro travels and, like, the journeys and everything.
Right.
So a lot of times, like, so many of you ask me about, like, what happens before my third eye opens, before I see the things that, you know, so many of the people see the same things. Like, we have these shared experiences that are amazing. Yeah. And some of you guys are figuring that out, and you're, like, figuring out how to be in the body. And, like, we're working through developing sensory perception and, like, turning everything on. This would be amazing. Yeah. This is, like, a place. So if you're feeling like when we're going on our astral travel journeys, this would help you, because these are like, this is groundwork that I don't necessarily get too much into, that I think would serve a lot.
Yes.
When it comes to developing your senses. So that's an amazing, yeah. I just realized that.
Because the 4 steps,
I just realized that.
The first step of the 4 steps is centering.
Centering,
is learning how to centering. And when I was
learn how to get out of your head, basically.
Yes.
So that, like, you learn how to get out of your head and to be present, so that then we can work with the right brain, and we can work with, you know, the energy fields, and I can take you to all the places where we travel to.
Yes.
But this will help when, like, those of you that are having left brain, like, overthinking kind of things, like, logical, you can't get out of your logical brain. This is what this is helpful for.
Yeah. When I was first learning the 4 steps, I found out that if I kept being centered and slowing down and slowing down and slowing down and slowing down, it would take me usually between an hour and a half, and I would get to a place that I called absolute zero,
Eckhart Tolle
Which-
feels the same way.
which is the absence
Yeah.
of any trying at all. Okay?
Being.
Completely being. And absolute zero is the point of most direct contact with spirit.
Yes.
It's the point of most direct contact with spirit. And so, if you can learn these 4 steps, centering and then following your passion, voicing the magic of your insights, ahas, revelations, and then voicing out loud, thanking God for whatever you're grateful for out of all of that happens, then it will take you to higher places. In the workshop, I actually map out the higher places that people get to. You know, I won't say them all now, but basically there's a place that we call the magical view because it's beyond words. Then there's, I called it heaven, but it's like when you get to a place called heaven, you might have a doubt before you cross that threshold that you're in heaven, but when you cross that threshold,
You know.
it doesn't matter where you are. You know that you're in heaven, right?
Yeah.
And eventually get to a place called God Self. And God Self literally comes
13th chakra.
it comes out of the small of your back, comes
Yeah.
out the middle, and then looks over you like this. And I didn't know.
We call it Kundalini too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know for years later.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that S shape is the Kundalini sign.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I didn't know that. I just
Every time, you guys, I've known Gary for 13 years. When I would talk to him about Kundalini, he'd be like, "Is that the weird sex thing?" And I was like, "No, Gary, that's not it." Do you remember that?
yeah.
Love you.
Yeah. But now I know it's called
Now
Tantra.
he knows. Yeah,
Tantra.
it's Tantra. So it was so funny because I would try and tell him, right? Because sometimes we have different words to express similar things. And I'd be like, "Gary, this is called Kundalini." He was like, "Is that?" I remember that a few times. I was like, "Okay."
So in the workshop we have a process after we do Voice of the Angels, which is another powerful process. But after that we do something called Stepping into God's Self. And
That's where amazing things happen. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Like, I almost wanted Gary to come and teach you that at the retreat. I don't think I ever said this out loud.
No.
But that's amazing. That's an amazing, amazing process. Yeah.
And we use, stance, like people get into a very powerful stance, and then we use deep breathing, and we use a very powerful visualization and the music, and it's amazing because a third of the people might have a really lovely experience, and a third of the people have like an outrageously extraordinary experience, and a third of the people are like, God, they're like flying.
You guys would all be flying, basically. This is the tribe. They would all be flying. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So, you guys, this workshop, and this is why this is coming up, because obviously Gary's doing soul readings for everyone in Goddess on Mission, Goddess and Gods on Mission, because we have the gods this year. So those of you, registration is open for that. If you feel called to register for Goddess and Gods on Mission, Gary's going to do soul readings next week. So decide, okay? And so that you can actually get like a one-on-one soul reading with Gary. And the other thing that's happening with that course, because you don't want to miss that, right? The other thing that's happening with that course is I am teaching you guys how to do readings the way that I do them by tracking the energy. If you go look on the course page, it's actually on there now. So I'm going to teach you how to do the energy tracking that I do. So if you ever had a reading with me and you want to learn how to do what I do, I'm breaking it down. And the only way I'm going to teach you that, I'm not teaching that to everybody. It's if you, so it's not open to just anybody. It's if you have taken the Goddess and Gods on Mission course, okay? Or if you do Gary's Magical Realms of the Sacred Self, okay? Because that's how much I base, and that's like so much of the groundwork. So you'll be ready to do that and for me to teach you those things if you learn these skills, okay? So that's how much that's how big of a deal it is, and that's how important it is. So, and it's happening, tell them when.
Okay, Wednesday night, this Wednesday It starts at 6:30 to 10:30
That's Mountain Time.
Mountain Time, and Thursday the same time, 6:30 to 10:30 p.m. Then Friday from noon to 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Then Saturday 9:30 a.m. till 8 p.m. on Saturday. And if you're local, you can show up because we do it locally and
You'll be here in the office.
right.
Yeah. In the Rise room. Gary's company is called Rise Leadership Group.
Yes.
Because we rise together. So, yeah, or you can join via Zoom. So if you have a chance, and then wait, you made a code for us. So it's a $500 workshop, but you guys get it for
$49.
$49.
For being in Sonia's group because she's one of our key affiliates, and so
That just means I support Gary.
If you
That's
go,
all that means.
if you go to the website riseleadershipgroup.com, then go to Magical Realms of the Sacred Self and then put in the code intro 49, and then you can get this $500 course for $49.
That's pretty amazing. Okay, so that's awesome. Yeah, Joanne made the face. She's like, whoa. It's really cool. If you have a chance to do it, and then they will send you the Zoom recording. If you're local, come in person because Gary's definitely like amazing as an in-person. Like you feel it's different.
It's a huge advantage to do it in person.
Yeah. But if you don't, you want the knowledge. It's kind of it's the same thing I tell you all the time. Like you want this knowledge. When I say, acquire the skills, like this is how you acquire the skills. When you have a chance to do something like this, especially for $49, that's pretty damn amazing. Yeah. So yeah, safe to say I'll be seeing you, Gary, Joanne says. That's amazing. Thanks so much, you guys. I wish I was still there. I know, huh? Joanne was just here. So many of you guys were here just last week at my house. Like, I didn't realize, I didn't put like these dates together. Or I would have told you like, hang out, get an Airbnb for another week. Like, stay for Gary's class. Next time we'll plan it better. Yes. Want the knowledge for sure, Amanda. So, I'll share a story and I'll link it because I just think it's amazing. So you want with everything that we're facing today in the world, we want as many skills as possible. And I just told Gary that I'm going to try and be here. He's teaching a new thing that I haven't never been around him teaching. So I'm going to try and make it on Thursday and Friday. We'll see. But not that we don't have a million things going on, but see, when you're like looking at acquiring new skills, I'm all for it. Okay, do you guys have any questions for Gary? I wouldn't be able to catch it live. I'm in Pacific Standard Time. Will the recording still work? So yes, he said you'll get the Zoom recordings. Yeah. The links, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, the code is intro49. Thank you guys for sharing. Yes. And then if you are not able to catch it live, but you can like jump in for different parts of it, do you allow it or do you want them? Yeah. No. Okay.
I mean, of course, it's better if they do it live or in person.
Yeah.
But if they have to miss part of it, they can get the recording and then catch what they missed.
Yeah. So, perfect. Okay. Yeah. So you can jump in and then go back to work or, So, Judy. I took it in June and it's totally amazing. I encourage everybody to take it. Yay, Judy, I love that. That's amazing. We were just saying with Gary, I was like, I think Judy is doing all your courses, Gary. That's awesome. I love it. I love that you guys are able to study with Gary, and I love that he has made this available because people used to travel to be here in person. He didn't have this available on Zoom before. So this is like a new thing. And so it's really cool to, and sometimes there's technical difficulties, and you guys know this, technology is not always easy, but the information and the experience and the learning that you get is worth it, right? So go into it setting that intention that you're going to receive the information that you get. And also you're not going to get something at this level of knowledge for $49. Like, it's just ridiculous. So it's an amazing deal. So Angeline says, I took it in June digital. She needs to get the recordings. Okay, so we need to send you the recordings.
Well, I think she's the one that Alice said, we will let you do the one now, here, like the one coming up.
Oh, okay.
So that she doesn't have to pay again. She just can jump
Can
on
jump
Zoom.
on. Okay.
Right.
So
If
that
that's the
one,
right person.
yeah, she probably is.
Because there was some glitches with the one in June.
So some of the recordings didn't go. Okay, yeah. So if you didn't do it, so if you registered for it live in June, and then you didn't get the email with the recording, message me, or you can email me and I'll send it to Gary, and then we'll make sure that you get the registration for this course. Okay, and then it's free. That way, with this course, you'll get the recordings. Yeah.
I'll tell Alice tomorrow.
Alice. Okay.
I'll tell Alice tomorrow to make sure that Angeline gets the link so that she can just
There we go. Yeah.
do it for free. I thought she'd already got it to her, but if not, I'll make sure she does it.
Okay. So we'll do that. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, she didn't know that. So Alice needs to get in touch with her. Okay. Perfecto. Hi, Jamie. Hi. Yes. Okay. Amazing. All right, loves. I'm so glad that you had a chance to chat with Gary. He's making notes right now so that he can tell. So Gary's producer, right, for the digital part of Magical Realms of the Sacred Self is Alice. Her name is Alice. And so what we'll do is maybe we will just share her information on my stories. Yeah.
Her name was Angeline?
Angeline. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and so you guys are saying Alice is so sweet. Yay! Okay, yeah, she's super sweet. And so she'll help you. And, you know, again, they just started doing digital things. It hasn't been available, but it's available now. So, you know, do it for that. So, yeah. And then we'll see what else happens. We were just saying, like, the energy is, like... Accelerating so much. Like, Gary was talking through the soul readings, and I was like, oh, my God. We got to do this thing, and we got to teach people about these things. Like, it hasn't stopped. I was talking earlier with Kels. She's over there. Look, she's over there going like that.
Yeah, it's happening.
Like, we were like, after the retreat, I was full on planning on taking a break because that was like a big birth, you know, to do the retreat.
I bet.
It was a big birth, you guys.
I still remember the first retreat.
Oh my gosh.
God, huge.
And... we did it. You know that I did it in person and I did it digital too. So at the same time, I took the group. It was amazing. It was amazing. This is why I was like, it's not a small thing that we did. We birthed something amazing.
And was she there to help you or not?
Yeah, she was
Thank
there.
God.
That's how Kelsey got hired. Because she was amazing. But I wanted to take some time off, and you know, that's why I was like, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And it's like, no. And then you got to do this and then you got to do this. And then like all this stuff is happening. I'm like, oh, what's going on? But there's just things.
Popular girls are all alike.
Carrie, popular with spirit. The ones that are getting the downloads, right? When you learn and you're just like, my soul won't let me rest unless I share and teach and do all of these things. Yes. Love the retreat. Your awesomeness. Regine came to the retreat. So many of the girls that you saw today. So, Christina. Okay, Sonia, I've been wanting to learn how you do readings. Thank you for making this part of Gary's offer also. What an incredible share all around. Yay! I'm so excited, Christine. It's going to be amazing. So, that's what we're going to do. So basically, you guys, if you want to learn how to do them, because I need people to do readings like I do. You guys know, when you book with me, it's like, it's booked out. In fact, you know, it's so funny. And I was telling Gary this, like someone messaged me like today, this morning, about a reading, and they couldn't find the link on my website. And I was like, well, that's because it's hidden. Because I figured if you really, really need it, then you'll be able to, like, you'll be led to it and you'll find it. And this is the truth, because I am so booked that I don't want to take it away. I want to make it available, but my intention and my energy around it is that it is available for those of you that really need it. And, you know, because I'm doing so many other courses to teach so many of you so many other things. And this is one of the things that I told Kelsey. Kelsey is learning how to do readings like I do them because it's so needed and so necessary in today's world. So you guys got to learn. So I got to teach you. So you can take Goddess on Mission and then I'll teach you. And that's a bonus, okay? Or you can do Gary's class and then I'll teach you. So that's how it's going to work out.
Let me say something about that.
Yes. The world needs your light. Oh, I love you.
When I was doing soul readings today for Sonia's group, I realized, like, the people today that I was doing soul readings on, they're all healers. And when I do a reading for somebody, I see groups of people behind them, like dozens or hundreds or thousands. And for a lot of the people I was doing soul readings on today, I either saw like thousands or hundreds of thousands, or I couldn't see an end to it, which is the potential of the people that they have the potential to heal or influence. And so what I want to say about that is that all of you who consider yourself either a closet healer or you know that you're a healer, every ounce of love and light that you bring to the planet is changing the biosphere of the planet, so that when children are born, they can be in the body more fully, which is consciousness. So every ounce of love and light that you bring to the planet changes, like every time you apologize, every time you say, I love you, or I know that you love me. Yeah. Every ounce of love and light that you bring to this planet changes everything in all of the universes forever.
True story. It's a big deal.
Just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
But you were saying about the group. Yeah. You don't tell him anything else?
Well, the group was amazing. I couldn't believe how similar
Goddess and God's
they were.
on Mission.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how similar they were. How many things they had in common.
But you know why?
Because your vibration.
Because I set out. This is what happens. And this is what I teach you guys how to do. Is whenever I do a course, and this is stuff I actually teach in the course, in Goddess and God's on Mission, I know who that course is for, and I send out a particular frequency. I send out a particular call for that course. So everyone that's there for the course, that's why Gary said this, right? And it's not, he doesn't really know the ins and outs of it, but that's the course for spiritual entrepreneurs. Right. That's the course for the people that know that they're the healers that came to make a difference on the planet. And so I help them figure out what their thing is. Yeah. And then how to get it out. Right. And that's that course. So isn't that amazing that he would say that there was no end to the people that you guys could heal, right? So when you feel the call for that course and your soul is like, this is the thing, there's a big reason, right? Yeah. So, yeah.
So many of them had the same kind of energy, and, you know, like several of them had huge wantingness. Yeah. Several of them had these spirits that were so bright they were blindingly bright. It was amazing to watch, you know.
It's amazing. You guys are amazing. That's why you're in there. It's so cool. Okay, so question for you. How did Gary start doing the work?
Short version is that when I was 19, my first year, or still 18, I think, my first year of college, I met a man named Mel Wasserman who I didn't realize, I was too young to realize that he was a couple of generations ahead of his time in the area of psychology or personal transformation. And so I spent 3 years living in Sea-Doo. Foundation, right. And having unbelievable experiences, life-changing experience. I mean, think about living in an awakening for 3 years. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. Yeah.
And so in my first breakthrough, it was like I remembered something that I'd completely forgotten about my whole life when I was 4 years old, not defending my brother with the bullies. And I had this experience where the energy from the earth came and it lifted me, and I got higher and 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 higher. And then all of a sudden, and I saw my divinity. I saw who I am, the truth of who I am, my magnificence. And in that moment, I knew exactly what I had been looking for my entire life, and I knew that I was filled to the brim with it. And I knew that I was free. Yes. And I knew that people out here in the, quote, real world don't have a clue what that experience is like.
That's damn straight. Yeah.
So
that's
in
right.
that moment, my first thought was, thank you. My second thought was, please don't ever leave me. And my third thought was, what if I could share this with the world? Woo!
And the work began. Yeah. So that's how it started.
Yeah.
So we all start somewhere, and it's never about like you just kind of. So, you know, some people do it consciously. Some people have experiences. Some people just are drawn to things. So when you're ready, it's like your soul is like button on, yeah. Right? Like you're just like, yeah. And it's time. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm so glad that we got to share this. He's so cute. I can't even. They just love you. I know. That's the thing about Gary. We love Gary.
Adorable and irresistible.
He's adorable and irresistible. So if you study with Gary, he will also teach you about like your sweetheart message and the things that your soul most wants to hear. Right. And so these are the things that, this is the basis, actually, since we're telling the truth about all the things of my, how I learned how to do affirmations. It's in the process. It's in one of the processes that is in this workshop. Again, it all goes back to Magical Realms of the Sacred Self. It's called Voices of the Angels. Okay. And you get to decide, you get to write to yourself these messages that your soul most wants to hear. And then that's how I started doing affirmations, and I put them on the mirror. And you guys know my 3x5 cards, I go on the mirror. The very first one that ever happened was not a 3x5 card. It was an 8.5 by 11 sheet on which I wrote my like message that I, shoot, Gary says, shoot for the moon on what you most want to hear for your heart, right? Your inner child. Like, what do you most want to hear?
And then two people say it in your ear at the same time, different messages. So it discombobulates the brain and it goes in very deeply. And it's a very moving experience.
It really is amazing. And so, yeah. But this is the beginning. When I got how important that was, those are the messages. When you learn how to do that, that's how I tailor my affirmations. And that's how I rewire my belief systems, because I got how important that was. And so then I took it home and I was like, I want to do this every day. I'm going to do, right? And so I teach you guys these things to do it every day. But this is where the beginning comes from, is that the words that you use are so particular to you, of the things that your spirit, your soul wants to hear.
Yeah, and you mentioned sweetheart message, and I wouldn't mind saying that when I was at a place called the Center for Feeling Therapy, you had the world's greatest therapist kind of in one community, and I was doing an intensive with the guy who took John Lennon through primal therapy, that therapist, and I had a profound revelation where I saw this woman talking about what she thought was her big hang-up, and I realized that human beings, when they're very young, their gifts and strengths and talents are like rays of light energy coming out from their body, and their biggest strengths are the ones that get slapped down by life or parents or kids at school first, and that energy has to go in the opposite direction.
That's right.
And at that moment, I realized, oh my goodness, there are no hang-ups. There are no weaknesses. There are no, you know,
It's redirecting energy.
yeah, it's redirecting energy.
This is what we've been talking about. That makes so much
And
sense.
so
Yeah.
and so the phone did something, I don't know.
Oh,
Okay, good.
we're here. Okay.
Good. So what I realized at that moment is that human beings are literally perfect. There are no hang-ups. And I changed my work 180 degrees, and because back in those days everything was confrontational. And I took all that out of it, and then I decided I would just shower people in what's right with them. So when they do my retreat, the awakening, it is the
That's what I know.
pinnacle. It's the pinnacle of that revelation, that we shower them in so much love and light that they rise like balloons and have these life-changing experiences, because they finally get on a deepest level how good and magnificent they are.
True story. And I tell you guys all the time, before I did the awakening, I didn't have access to my feelings. I had shut them. Do you
I
remember?
remember that. I remember that.
So Gary does this thing where afterwards you have a declaration, and I'm not gonna tell him the whole thing, but the after you go through this breakthrough process, right? And I was just like, I mean, I had to get shit done. I was corporate America, climbing the ladder, didn't have time for feelings, like go, like that person. Is that even fathomable now that I had like no feelings? Like, Kelsey's like, no. And my thing was my words, which is why I always tell you guys, like, to find words. What, Sonia? Yeah, they can't even imagine it. You can't even imagine it because, first of all, that was like 13 years ago. So it's been a long time practicing my feelings. And Gary would always say, and I only got this like 3 years ago. Like, it took me forever. Gary would always say, feelings are the juice that makes things happen. And I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm like, what is this juice? What am I going to do with a blender? Like, I don't get it. Oh, you guys, I struggled so hard.
Is he talking about orange juice or what?
I know. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I was like, okay, feeling like, but I never got it. And that's the thing, is until it clicks and until you get it. And then when I learned and I understood how magnetic my feelings are, which is what I teach you guys. I don't know where my phone. There we go. So once I realized, right, the magnetism in our feelings and the fact that we manifest the reality based on our feelings, and our feelings and our thoughts create our world, I was like, that's what he meant. So anyways, but without feelings, so when you go ice cold, which is what our culture teaches you, that it's so cool to be this like cold heart bitch, right, and whatever, it's like, then you don't have access to feelings, then you're not going to manifest the shit out of anything, because you're just not. You don't have that access. You don't have that magnetism. And so my thing 13 years ago, can't believe it's been that long, is I was like afterwards, I was like, I feel. Like, I would just like, that was my thing. My whole entire awakening was that I could feel. And I think I told this story like recently where I was like, and then my feelings started opening and I was like, oh my God, I think I'm jealous. Oh my God, I think that's envy. And I started having to feel feelings for the first time again, and like categorizing feelings. And I was, how old was I? I was in my 20s. 27? Yeah, somewhere around there. When I did this work, and it was like, yeah, I had to be 27 because it was 2007. So somewhere around there. And then but the fact that I could feel, and I had to relearn. So what I'm saying is like, it's not, you can always relearn. And I feel like and start again, or start today, or start over, or whatever the hell it is. You can always do that. And it's not impossible. You just have to have the right skills. You have to acquire the right tools in order to be able to move forward. Yeah. Otherwise, you don't have the ability to move forward and you stay stuck. Yes. So it doesn't matter when it is. But those of you that are starting now, you can do this in like quantum leaps, because everything is accelerating. Consciousness is accelerating. So these things that took me forever to understand about feelings, right? Now that you have Gary, you have me, you have the general consciousness that's accelerating, like, da!
You know, the thing I love about
Superpowers.
the thing I love about being a master is that, like, when people, like, I'm really good with couples, so when couples come in, I realize that in the first session, I'll do with them what would have taken me, like 10 years ago, would have taken me 4 or 5 sessions, because you learn all the shortcuts. And so I love it that when I'm doing whatever, one-on-one sessions or my classes, I can save people decades of the blood, sweat, and tears that I had to go through
That makes sense. Because
to
that's
get
how
where I'm at.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. When you teach people in God is on mission or whatever, it's like,
Yeah.
it took you
I'm
a
like,
while.
how did it? Yeah. And we've had this stuff too. And I'm like, it took me forever to figure this out. And it took you guys like weeks, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
And it just blows my mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. So that's amazing one. Oh, Javier, the enlightened one. I think it's Javier, if I remember names right. Happy birthday. He just turned 25 today.
That's great. Yay.
See, that was just the beginning for me of that was, the 3-hour birth versus the 30-hour birth. I explained that comes from Gary. And I'm like, do you want the 30-hour birth or the 3-hour birth? One way or another, you will be birthed. It just depends how painful do you want to make it. Right. Yeah.
Right.
So, okay. Well, if you have any more questions for Gary, speak now. Everybody's saying happy birthday. I love. We have such a good tribe, so everybody knows each other. So they come on here and they all know each other. Oh, new birth of the light body. Yes, birthing the light body is a whole other thing. So, it's Xavier. Yes, that's what I thought. Okay, so you guys, let me know if you have questions when you see this. I'm going to share the video to... Yes, you can watch it from the beginning. I'm going to share it to the IGTV. So go on the IGTV. And then, wish I knew this at 25, right? Melinda, seriously, like, happy birthday.
When you see an awakening, and you'll see like a 9 or 10-year-old or a 12-year-old have a breakthrough, all the 50, 60-year-olds are asking themselves, what would my life have looked like if I could have gotten it when I was that age?
Yeah. But we're here, this is what we got, and this is what we're working with, right? So it's time it doesn't matter however old you are. Plus cellular regeneration is like a whole other situation right now.
I have to run.
Okay, Gary has to go. I love you guys. And I just did. I don't know what she just did, but it sounds good. I love you guys. Okay, I'm going to see you here in... Oh, Gary's phone's got to go. Say bye to Gary. Bye. I love you guys. Message me if you have questions. I'm going to share things on my stories. And love you both more. I love it. I love that so many of you are like in my courses and you're learning with Gary. It's amazing. Okay. I'm going to go because he's going to have to lock up and we have to get out. Say bye to Kels.
Bye. Love you.
You guys can just lock the bottom lock door when you leave. Take your time.
Oh, see, look how amazing he is. He said, you guys can just lock the bottom door when you leave. This is how amazing it is. So this is what I was telling Kelsey. It was right there, right by that table. So when Gary teaches, he sits right there on the chair, right? And then I was right there by that table. That's where I talked to Ashtar for the first time. That's where I heard the Pleiadians and the group consciousness for the first time. I was telling her and she was like, I'm going to stand in that spot.
It's a magical spot.
It's a magical spot. That's when, things happened. So it's amazing. And I was like, whoa, who are these people talking in unison in my ear? And that was the Pleiadians, and that was the first time. But the thing that happened, and it's not that the workshop was about that at all. It's just the safety and the space that was available during the workshop allowed me to have that experience because I was ready for it, right? So whenever you do any of my courses, any of Gary's courses, anything in life really, always set your intention to receive the information that you're ready for, to have the experiences that your soul wants you to have. Like, because it will come through, like sometimes it comes through in unexpected ways. You just have to have the space. You have to have like a place where you're being held, right? And then maybe you learn something completely different, but the space assists you. You are held and you are safe and you are able to grow and receive information, right? So the right conditions, and you manifest the information that you need to understand. So, okay. I love you guys. All the things are in the link in my bio. Go to my website. I'm going to share more on my stories. So remember, my website is www.moonbabetribe.com. And here on Instagram, I'm at Moonbabes and the Light Tribe. And I'm going to share all my stories, all the things about Magical Realms for Gary, all the things about Goddess on Mission, all of the deals that we have going on right now, and all the magic. Mwah! I love you guys. Bye, Gary. We love you. Thank you. Bye. Gary's love. I love you guys. I will see you on here on stories.